Okay. Good morning, everybody. This is Prophet Rawanawa B coming to you live and direct. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. I want to share with you all. And it's just some things I want to share with you all that is going to bless you. I want to come from a perspective about some things that really, really affect us as a nation of people. And what I'm going to do is piggyback off some data that has already been curated, people that are experts in this field, well versed in this field. I am not. I humble myself. I am not. However, although I am not, I am really good at synthesizing information that I am not a specific expert in. I can hear things in certain things. I don't care what it is. It could be sports analysts, political analysts, geopolitical analysts. I could hear different things. Once I get the jargon and the terminology and everything, and I get people, places, and faces all where they're supposed to be, I'm able to really filter through this information from a biblical standpoint of view. And so I would like to do that with this, what I'm about to share with you. And this is coming from the person that I am getting this from. That is his name is Antonio Young. Okay. Antonio Young. This is a guy that I'm newly familiar with. And he quite brilliant, I would have to say. Quite brilliant. Total different worldview than I have. But brilliant nonetheless for the information that he gives and the commentary he gives. Even though he has a worldview, I'm able to go through, I'm able to sort through the bones and go right to the meat of what we need. I don't think he has what we need. I don't think that, but he has a skill set and expertise of knowledge in an area that I think it would be beneficial for us to look at these things, that we might understand why we as a nation, as the nation of Israel, are in some of the predicaments that we find ourselves. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into it. And I'm going to be sharing my screen with you. A lot of this information that this brother brings forth is very poignant, because we have a lot of fallacies about us being in this country, and it's tragic. This guy has a handle on it to some extent, but because of the worldview that he holds, it really does pollute a lot of the things that he's bringing forth. But the guy, apart from that, the guy is brilliant. And so that's why I am here as a prophet, as a critical thinker, as a cutting edge thinker, and I can hear something and say, hey, this would be a blessing to Israel. And I know some people, they like, yeah, I don't mess with none of it. Well, that sounds disingenuous to me. because you live in this world. You've been raised by people who have fallen prey to some of the very things that this brother is bringing out, but yet you throw out everything. I don't get that. That's something. See, to me, that is a tale of lack of spiritual discernment. Is that what Isaiah 7:14-15, it says, butter and honey shall he eat, that he may be able to choose the good and refuse the evil. It don't say throw everything out. No, no, no. A person that throws out everything all the time, they're telling you that they don't have spiritual discernment. They function on emotion. They function on premonitions that are unfounded in anything that is documented and backed by data. See, that's dangerous. You don't throw out everything, y'all. We're in captivity. I mean, come on. But anyway, let me get. So, but anyway, I just read a message and it was like kind of crazy, but I'm going to keep it moving. So let me get to where I need to be, and let's get into this. And yes, let me tell you something. Whenever somebody tells you they're a master of something, or they project themselves as an expert in something, where's your data? Where are your receipts? Because you will hear black people run around and say they master this and master that, master this and master that, but they never tell you how are you a master? They won't say that. They're just some armchair masters, armchair professional, armchair experts. But they really don't. They don't have no body of work. They don't have a body of work, a body of history that they will point to readily. Yeah, I was doing this. They don't do that. They'll just tell you they're a master. Don't pay no attention to these people. Any attention to people, especially if the data that they're bringing doesn't even corroborate the stuff they're teaching. Now, I'm a master carpenter. Been there for about 27 years, 28 years, since I was 19, 18. Okay. Built all kinds of homes, luxury homes, $15 million homes, thousands of different units of homes, single family homes, you name it, hotels, motels, commercial building. I got receipts. Okay. I'm not saying I'm a master carpenter and I don't know nothing. I got videos on YouTube of me building stuff, and I need to upload some more stuff. So people will tell you that they're a master of something, but how? If you say you're a master of something, how are you a master? How? How did you get your credentials? Even if you're self-taught, what self-taught credentials you have that will back up you being a master of something? See, our people be doing some really stupid stuff. You're a master of something, and we just got to take your word for it. You an expert. Let me see. What am I trying to do? Okay, let's get this started. And I want to tell you something. He does a good job breaking this down. He breaks it down ugly. Okay. Now listen to this. Listen to this statistic here. This is beautiful. You know, so all this idea that black people think that they are all that when they're not nothing, it is a pandemic in our thinking. And it's part of the curses of Deuteronomy 28. You think you something when you're nothing. It's sad. Sad, sad, sad. Now, listen to this. Right. You don't count the couch in the car. You don't count depreciating assets. And listen, y'all, he said that our homes, the average black home, is only worth $5,000. I don't care how much the house is worth. You know why? Because it's on a loan and you factor in the interest rate. So we only worth $5,000 with a home. And then if you deduct from that the depreciating assets, we probably about, well, let's see what he's going to say. Exactly. There you go. There you go. Bingo. The reason why they count all this stuff in when they add up our so-called wealth is because guess what? We ain't worth nothing. So they got to add all that stuff just to make their white supremacy look better. Make it look like their white supremacy has some equity to it and justice, economic justice. And we fall for it. We love, black folk love this kind of talk. They love when white mommy and white daddy make them feel better and they're actually in a worse position. We love it. As long as look, you heard that, y'all. The middle black home black family is worth $1,700 versus the white family, which is worth a $110,000. Everything we're being told about ourselves is a lie from the pit of hell. And we think we're doing better. Better, y'all. We think we the head with all these depreciating assets we're surrounded by. So look at that, y'all. The middle white family who has a home that's worth $110,000 with depreciating assets. If you deduct all their depreciating assets, it only come out to $100,000. But if a black person owns a home, let's say it's worth $100,000, they're only going to be worth $5,000. And then if you deduct depreciating assets, they're only worth $1,700. Y'all, these are the reasons why I know we are slaves as a group of people. We are slaves, y'all. It's no way that we can compete with these people. No way that we compete with anybody. So we'll go buy a house for $100,000. And guess what? The house would be like 80 years old. If they go buy a house for $100,000, it's brand new. Or $100,000, it's brand new. Brand new. And it's a whole lot of other mitigating circumstances. A house that a African American live in, and they paid $100,000 for it, it's not worth the same thing as a house that a white person pays for, and it's $100,000. I don't care if the house is old or new. It's not. The community is not even worth the same. So our community is actually a depreciating asset because of the lack of social capital that we have in our own community. So that compounds how much we don't have. But yet we brag that we live in a house that's $100,000, and that's not even a lot of money. That's deep. That's deep. 80 million white homes, and 40,000 of them are worth what do you say? And somebody would say, you know, that's a good point that he makes. It's just a bunch of people living together. It's just a bunch of people living together, and we call that a family. We really do call it a family. And I'm going to even go a step further. I think even when you have a husband in a black paradigm or Israelite paradigm, when you have a husband and a wife and some children living together, you still just got a bunch of black people living together. That's all you have. It's just a bunch of black people living together. You really don't have the essence of what a family is. When you have a so-called black family, you really don't have in principle what a real family is. You don't. When you juxtapose that compared to what a white family is, and you look at it from a historical context, White people, they have a whole governmental system behind them, a whole army behind them. They have a whole political apparatus behind them, and it favors them. When we say that we have a family, we can't say that we have a family in that context. Say that they have a family because they slaved us. That's part of the narrative of the white American family or the European Caucasian American family. Why? Because they slaved us. We built the country. All the big companies that are owned, multinational corporations that are owned by them, guess what? We built it. So when they talk about family, they talk about family in a far larger and sinister context. When we talk about family, we just say, oh, I'm married, I got children, and that's it. That's it. These people that we're talking about that are our counterparts, guess what? They own the loan companies. They own the banks. They own the insurance company. They are the underwriters for all the loans. So I think when we talk about family and we talk about it outside of a biblical context and from a Hebraic context, our definition lacks a whole bunch of teeth. We think of family as just, I got married and I had a baby. But when a slave master got married, it means I got married. Who was that? Here, answer this. I'm busy right now. Please hurry up. Hello? But anyway, so you see what I'm saying? When we talk about family, when we talk about anything that they talk about, y'all, we never talk about nothing in a biblical context because we don't even know that we're the Israelites. So a lot of these conversations that we have and a lot of this these talking points that we have are not discussed in a context of us serving our power, serving our Elohim who looks like us, or some people would say God that looks like us. So whenever a black person or Israelite defines a family, the Most High is not even in the equation. Now, and for the vast majority of us, when we think about the Most High, we think about white Jesus. You see? So that's out of the biblical context of who our God is. That's in the Bible. You see? So we're defining everything. We've changed the truth of the Most High into a lie. Whenever we talk about family outside the context and confines of serving the Most High. I don't know if y'all understand me. I don't know. I didn't mean to go this deep. But anyway, I'm going to play this. Right. Right. Exactly. They don't want to tell us that the middle black family And let me say this, the reason why that's the measure of an American family is because you got to define what American is. I want to tell you what American really is. An American, from a historical perspective, an American is a person that benefits from the apparatus of slavery. That's really what an American is. So this idea that you have African Americans, no, that's a misnomer. That's a misnomer. We don't benefit from our own slavery. We don't. Even with all the crumbs that they rake off the table to us like dogs, that's no benefit to us. No, stop. Stop. Don't do that. Please, please don't do that. So with all the crumbs that they rake us off the table and we get happy. No, that's from a critical thinking standpoint of view, that cannot be what an American is. When we look at the soiled history of this nation, that cannot be. We don't benefit off of slavery. Never. So that excludes us from the conversation of being Americans. And when I say Americans, I'm not talking about as a geographical location, but as a beneficiary of what brought this country to greatness. That's the context that I'm talking about. Okay? So yeah, and from a geographical national standpoint of view, yeah, we are American because we live here, we raised here. But from as a beneficiary of the slave trade, no, we are not. We are not Americans in that context. You see? So I think these are some of the nuances that we don't take to heart. I think these are some of the nuances that we don't give, do study in. Because you got a bunch of us running around here saying we're African Americans or we're Americans. And I can understand the strategic standpoint of view. If you're perched high, you look like you perched high on the ladders of success. Okay, I get it. I get that. Okay. I mean, you don't want to jeopardize that. At least most people don't want to. Mm-hmm. What? Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. 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 Understand. So when you start to think about it, right. 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 Okay. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Right. Right, right. Yeah. There you go. Now, yeah. No, you don't know. You don't know a family making $81,000 with a web of families surrounding them. $81,000. You don't know that, and this is what our people don't understand. You are poor if you don't have a network of black families surrounding you. And y'all, it even goes beyond that. If you don't have a network, if you don't have a network with a net worth of $81,000, and that's the entry level of just surviving in America. That's entry level, entry level, entry level. Don't have a web of families around you, but I'm going to go a step further. Not only do you have to have a web of families around you to buffer and protect you, but you have to have a political, military apparatus around you and a justice apparatus around you. So just having a bunch of people around you with $81,000, that's not even a defense. You got to have layers of defense around you. Military, jurisprudence, healthcare systems. We don't have all of that, y'all. Because we got $81,000, we got a Corvette, a boat, a jet ski in the garage. We think we are comparable to our Caucasian counterparts who have that. No, we not. They got a whole governmental system, federal government, healthcare system surrounding them. And all of these things give them preferential treatment. It's huge when it comes to social capital. Preference is a huge thing. It will make or break you if you don't have preferential treatment. Forget about your education, forget about your skill. If nobody favors you, it don't matter how much skill or education you got. It don't matter if you're the best in the world. If they don't pick you and they're picking other people above you and instead of you, how can one stand alone, the Bible says? And then on top of that, your own Elohim won't even help you because you turned your back on him. So it don't matter if you have $80,000, $100,000 in net worth, even $500,000. If you have $500,000, you are the top 20% of earners in America. If you have over $500,000 in wealth, you're the upper 20%. Upper 20%. You own 20% in America. You're in that group that have 20% of the wealth. If you if you have a net worth for over $500,000. So we're in big trouble, y'all. All these other things that's against us, our God is against us. And we're trying to do all this stuff, political activism. We're trying to do economic empowerment. We want to start schools for just black boys. Y'all, it's a failure. Not going to fail. It is a failure. It's a failure out the gate. Most High said he ain't gonna let us do nothing successful if we're not turning to him. Nothing. He's not gonna let us do anything successful as Muslims, as Buddhists, as Egyptologists, and I'm gonna say this too, as Hebrew Israelites that are not born again. He said he wasn't gonna be with us. Matter of fact, he said, I'm gonna curse you. Curse your blessings. Woo! Now you understand that. What's that? Malachi 2. He said, I will curse your blessings. Good grief. But guess what we're going to try to do? We're going to still try to be successful while he's cursing our blessings. Wicked people. I'm telling you, you got a lot of wicked people that are black. They're not middle class. That so let me give you something from infographics, which I'm pulling up. That anytime that you look at 75, $100,000, you know. Wait a minute, when you get to that, listen to this, y'all. When a white person makes $100,000, listen to what he says that they are worth when they make $100,000 versus a black person making $100,000. See, black people think because they bring home $100,000 a year, they think they're equal with their white friends. No, you're not. You must be nuts. Even if y'all get paid the same rate. Listen to this. That means that they're worth $150,000, $200,000. Working. You heard that? So when a white family makes $100,000 annually, they're actually worth 150, 125, $150,000 because they make what? $100,000. But watch what he's about to say here. See, there you go. See, when whites make $100,000, they get an infusion of cash from their grandparents, from their aunts, from all kinds of people who are deceased, retired. Okay. Who are deceased, who are dying. You see, when black people, when our parents die, you don't have nothing. You're actually spending money. You're losing money when a person dies because you got to pay for their insurance. A lot of times our people don't even have insurance. The house is underwater. They owe more on their house than the house not paid for, or the house ain't even worth nothing. The house is falling down. So you're not left with anything. So the people that leave stuff for white people when they for their children when they die as heirs, their financial situation is supercharged. Right, right. Right. That's a good point. When your enemy has 90% possesses 90% of the wealth, you are already subjugated to a position that you really, and you know what? That's exactly what Deuteronomy said. It said there will be no power in your hands to deliver yourself. There's no way that we could deliver ourselves. And the Most High said he would put us in a situation where there's no way that we could deliver ourselves except we go to him. And this just proves that we don't really want to have nothing to do with him. So this situation is going to get worse. Right. 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 Mhm. It's really interesting because I talk to people all the time. I talk to Israelite black families that are aberrations, and it's really, they're so arrogant. I've heard Israelites say stuff like, and I'm talking about people that know that they're Israelites, and I listen to the hubris that they come with, and they say stuff. Yeah, I'm going to really teach Israelites. I'm going to show people how Israelites really supposed to live. It's like this person is so slow that they don't even know that they're aberration. They don't know that they're aberration, and they don't know that they're a curse, because you can't build a nation off of aberration. You can't do it. But they want to throw it in our faces, those that are not equivalent apparitions. They want to throw it in our face that, hey, yeah, see, y'all just doing it all wrong. Let me show you how to be an Israelite. Let me show you how to be, or a black African American. And these people are leaning on the bosom of boomers who had all kinds of advantages, and they rode a wave of affirmative action all the way up. And now these kids, their children are now adults, and now they want to throw it in our face that, yeah, see, y'all don't know how to be Israelites. It's like, shh, be quiet. You don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know what in the world you sound like a fool. You're going to show Israelites how you're going to show how Israelites really supposed to live. We're slaves. And because you rode the wave of the house slaves up to the top, don't start throwing that into the field slave's face. Stop it. You know you're being wicked. Humble yourself. What did it say? Pride goeth before a fall, and haughty spirit before destruction. Shh. All those advantages, all that wealth, all those opportunities, all those open doors that have been opened to you because of a number of circumstances can be taken away in a moment. Close your mouth. Don't be looking down your nose at us talking about, oh, I'm going to show Israelites really how to live. Shh, be quiet so you can hold on to what you got so you can share it and empower other Israelites. But no, you don't want to do that. You want to throw it in our face. Be quiet, you ignorant buffoon. People are reckless. You want to show people how Israelites are supposed to live in slavery? That's like a house slave saying, yeah, I'm going to show these field niggas how to really live. Shut your mouth. You don't even know what you're talking about. You sound like an idiot. Right, right. We Wow. See, this is what this shows me is that black people are contained. They are actually in on a prison planet. Now, the 10 most wealthiest black places, affluent black places where black people live, is in these two places right here. And that's a small little speck when you look at consider the country that we live in. So it shows that we really nothing. We're nothing. I'm going to explain what this wave is and this bubble is that he's talking about. This wave and bubble that he's talking about is the Most High. It's a mixture of some things. It's the Most High allowing some of us to get success to see what we're going to do with it. That's what that wave is. And I'm going to tell you, every time black people or Israelites have gotten any type of success in this country, in this captivity, guess what we want to do? Be white. We want to live just like white people. We never use our success to come back to our heritage. Never. We never use our success to come back to our God. We get deeply more embedded with white Jesus. See, this guy don't know how to interpret this that way. He just don't know. Very brilliant, but he don't know how to interpret this. And so the Most High will raise up prophets like myself to bring these things out. Whenever black people get ride any type of wave of success, they're going to use it. They're going to surf that wave to become more like their oppressors. And that's our curse. And that's our test. See, I have a different story. My family got me at 16. You still like the green home. Right. They don't know that they represent generations. They don't know that they do. So they need to explain it. Right. We're very vulnerable to capital, and like I said, if you don't have a network of people around you that make the same amount of money that you have access to and wealth that you have access to, with the apparatus of banks, legal, healthcare systems, insurance companies, car companies, I could go on and on, food companies, food stores, food producers. If you don't have all those things surrounding you, you're not really rich. I don't care if you have $1 billion, $1 trillion as an individual, you're not really rich. You don't have a defense. Look what they're doing to Bill Cosby. They could take Bill Cosby, Oprah Winfrey, Magic Johnson, Tyler Perry all down in one night because they don't have a defense of their own nation of people. They don't. With all the aforementioned apparatuses that you need to survive. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I continue on. Right. Right. There you go. Or help you run life. No, that exactly. That's not the national narrative for black people in America. And let me tell you this. You could be tied to a boomer who is uber wealthy. And guess what? They're so stupid as far as their real vulnerability that they don't even have enough sense to share. They don't even have enough sense to share with their own people. They don't have a sense enough to share with their own progeny, help get businesses started, job training. They don't even, our people don't know nothing about that kind of stuff. And another thing that we don't know nothing about, all of that is in vain if we're not going to serve the Most High. So let's say you do have an uber wealthy person. They're going to be, and they're black, they're going to be too stupid and too worldly. They're going to be too stupid and they're going to be too worldly to know that it's in their best interest to create a hedge around them. That we're not that brilliant, y'all. They're happy just because they're uber wealthy. That's all they're concerned about. That's all they are concerned about. As a matter of fact, they won't even give you crumbs that fall from their table. And they won't give it to nobody, even the people in the family that kowtow to them, suck their ankles. They won't even do it for them. It's something wrong with us. You talk about a wicked people. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Mm. Wow, you heard that? You heard that? See, we've been brainwashed in thinking that we're greater than what we are because we have $1 trillion in spending power. That ain't nothing. And we trying to equate that to the GP, gross national product of other countries. That stuff is so misleading because we don't even produce nothing. A country will produce something. You heard that? That's just powerful. Most black families, independent of baby boomers, are worth negative. That means we're living our life just to pay off loans. And I would say 30% of the loans are 30 to 40% are probably predatory loans. But guess what? We riding around in Lexus. We going on vacations and boat cruises and all kind of stuff. We doing some stupid stuff. 500,000. Right. You heard that? So the top 20% of American wealth is owned almost exclusively by white folks. It's owned exclusively by white folk. And I'm going to tell you that I could believe that. Let me tell you something. When a black person has $1 million, let's $1 million in net worth, it's not the same as a white person that has 500,000. It's just not. A white person with $500,000 has a whole apparatus behind him, governmental, agriculture, healthcare apparatus behind him that favors him, that's made for him. A person that's black and have $1 million, they don't have that. They don't have that kind of privilege. White privilege is something else, y'all. Right. No, right. That's a good point. Nobody ever wants to deal with the brunt cost of coming from slavery, i.e., the curses being on us. Nobody wants to deal with that. Now, this guy right here, uh, uh, Antonio Moore, he probably don't have a problem dealing with coming from slavery. But the fact that the reason why we were in slavery, now he probably going to have a problem with that. So, and because he have a problem with that, he's probably not going to really want to deal with why we are slaves in that framework. It's going to be a lot of problems that you're going to have with a guy like this. You start to see them. Yeah, and the 14,000 black families that's got a net worth of $500,000, it is not the same as a white family with a net worth of $5,000. It is not the same, y'all. It is not the same. It really is not the same. If you're black and you got $500,000 net worth, guess what that means? It probably means you're middle class. And so, like, but it doesn't reflect any. Exactly. It wasn't, you just you see examples of it. Even for that matter, sharecropping. Right, right. There you go. That's good. That's good. I got to give it to him. That black people, 50% of black people think they're middle class, and 47% of Mexicans think that they're middle class, and white people got all the money. Oh boy, I'm telling you, we are getting played with the Jedi mind tricks. They have convinced us to believe that we're middle class, and they got all the money. They got all, and see, he's just talking about economics. Not only do they have the money, they have the companies, they have the farms, the stores, the insurance companies, the banks. Their faces are on all the money. But and most 90% of the money is in their pockets. But we think we're middle class. 50% of us, 50% of us think we're middle. Listen to that, y'all. 38% of whites, only 38% of whites believe that their children are going to reach the upper echelons of financial nirvana. Listen to me now. Only 39% of white folks who have all the money believe that their children are going to reach the upper echelons of financial nirvana. But the people that don't have no money, 50%, 56% of us, black folk, we think that we're going to reach it. Why do more of us believe that we're going to reach this upper echelon of nirvana when 39% of the people who actually got the money don't even believe that about their own children? Hey, ooh. See, you might think, okay, well, yeah, people just got things mixed up. No, people are wicked. They're wicked. That means that black people have more faith in being an American than white people do. That right there those are cold, hard facts. That means that we are running harder after the American dream than they are. They don't even believe the American dream is that attainable for them, and they got all 90% of the money. So that means that a lot of witchcraft has been working on our minds, and we're stupid. We're just stupid, period. That's like me working at the company and the guy that owns the company. I'm thinking more about how successful the company going to be than he is. And he owns the company. And guess what? I'm the janitor at the company. That's see, when I hear people speak, I could hear when I hear black people speak, I could actually hear white supremacy in their voice, in their talking points, in their philosophy. I could hear it. I just don't say nothing. I just don't say anything. I just don't say anything because I know that what I'm thinking about is way over their head. It's over their head. And spiritual things are spiritually discerned. They would never understand this stuff. If I explained it to them for 1,000 years, they would never understand it. And even if they did understand it, because of their habits and lust of the flesh, it wouldn't mean nothing no way. They're gonna go right back to what they've been doing, even if they do understand it. Because of the mental conditioning, it's nothing they really can do about it. The trajectory and the momentum that they're taking is going to push them in that direction, even if they do understand what I'm talking about. I've seen this happen. That 7 out of 10 children that were raised in middle class homes are going to fall below the middle class level. 7 out of 10. But yet 56% of black people believe that their children are going to be upper middle class. We are wicked. We want to be Americans so bad. We on this hallucinogen that have us thinking that we're going to be better than white people. Ah! And you believe it based on blind hope. That's not going to work. That's not caught in the catastrophe. See, these things that this guy's talking about and Yvette Carnell talk about, to me, even though their worldview is off, it sounds more like the Bible than anything. It sounds more like the Israelites thinking than anything. We just be doing some stupid stuff. So all this stuff about pull yourself up by your bootstraps, do for self, stop buying weave and buckets of chicken and all this, that's really not our biggest problem, y'all. And Jordans, that's not our biggest problem. That's not the reason why we're poor. This guy even shows data where it shows in some areas black people save more money than white people, still at the bottom. Still at the bottom. I think if black people I think it's possible for black people to save more than white people. And guess what? The Most High still gonna have us at the bottom. Still gonna have us at the bottom with all the savings and all that, without, even if we didn't buy Jordans, a ton of weave, makeup, and all buckets of chicken and all this. Guess what? We still gonna be at the bottom. We gonna be at the bottom, y'all. And you always hear black people say, I'm going to meet you at the top. No, no, I'm going to meet you at the bottom. We have to serve the Most High. We have to serve the Most High to get to the top. Most High, listen to me. The Most High. How do you get to the top? The Most High. How do you get to the top? The Most High. The top is the Most High, but we don't want that. So we're going to be you're supposed to be at the bottom. If you don't want to be at the top, the top is the Most High. If you don't want to be at the top, your place, your designated place, is going to be the bottom. Now look what he said here. This is profound. Listen to this. Now you see that? He said you're an aberration if you can get 8 or 9 family members around you. Families around you. Now listen, families around you. And y'all have a net worth of $100,000. He says even then you're an aberration. And that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. He said, if you got a net worth like that and you got 8, 9 families around you, he said, you an aberration. See, we don't really understand how vulnerable we are. And I'm not just going to say financially vulnerable. We are vulnerable to wickedness. We are vulnerable to the carnal nature. That's why we ain't worth nothing. What really makes us worth something is when we attach to the divine nature. Now, this guy's not going to talk about that, but that's why the Most High raises me up as a prophet to deal with the type of stuff that he has, to give it that perspective so you can have a clearer vision of really what's being discussed here. Doubt. Right. Uh-oh. Sorry about that, y'all. Thank you. Look at this, y'all. I'm telling you, boy, we You heard that, y'all? Now, it says 1/3 of whites who said they are poor or working class, they think they'll move up the class scale in the next 5 years. Only 1/3 now. So something like 32%, 32.5% of white people think that they're going to move up the economic class scale. But look at this, y'all. 50% of African Americans think that they are going to move up the same scale. Boy, what's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? We are more optimistic about being an American. I'm going to say it this way, being a slave master than white people are, who's slaving us. God, my goodness. Talk about wicked minds. That's, to me, that's just hubris. And Latinos are even more optimistic. 53% of them think, 53% of them have greater optimism than anybody. American, amazing. Amazing, y'all. African Americans and Latinos are more likely than whites to identify as working class poor, but we are the ones that's the most optimistic. We're more optimistic than our oppressors who are poor and who have a whole apparatus behind them to catapult them on the class scale. I'm telling you, black people are wicked. Israelites are some wicked, hard-hearted, evil people, thinking more of yourself than you ought to. Wow. The Bible says, humble yourself and he will exalt you. But we don't want that. We try to exalt ourselves. We think we're going to do better than white daddy. And the way that we believe that we're going to do better than white daddy is by appealing to white daddy. Y'all, this is a failure out the gate. Mm-hmm. Right. And and I want to say this, even if there was a governmental policy that would give the impression of doing this, it's going to be a lie. It's going to be a lie, a trick. It's not going to be real. But we're going to fall for it. But anyway, the name of his channel is Tone Talks. You know, if you're not rooted in the scriptures and you always that type of person that's running from this person to that person to that person to that person, and you don't really know how to, you really don't have the ruach with you, to really dissect information, I wouldn't. This would be the deep end of the pool for you, and I would stay away from it. Okay, and just wait for me to come on the channel and break this stuff down so you don't get in any trouble. Okay, but anyway, this is Prophet Rawanawabi signing out. Thank you for coming and visiting. Thank you for supporting this channel as a viewer. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, start you know, if you can handle this information, subscribe to this guy's channel. I think he does a good job curating information and giving his perspective on it, even though he has a worldview that is not biblical. You know, you just really need spiritual discernment to be able to hear this guy. But most people don't have that. So I will be dealing with his channel from time to time. And I want to get a little schedule going because twice a week I would like to do channels like this, like Yvette Carnell's on Monday and his on another day, and then do my own teachings on biblical matters, prophecy, parables, on other times of the week, you know. So I want to give y'all spiritual nourishment from a biblical standpoint of view. And let me say this too. One thing I don't hear these people stress. When I say people, I mean like people like Yvette Carnell and this Michael Moore guy. They don't stress the fact that black people need to be having a bunch of children. They don't stress that. They don't even see that as a answer to any of our problems. Now, I don't believe that having children is your biggest problem, but you have to have children that you raise in the fear and admonition of the Most High, and you have to raise them also with a business acumen. Okay, you got to be able to train your children like the Bible tells us in Deuteronomy chapter 6. You see, so these are the things that we really need to and we need to focus on: getting married, staying married, and even after our children are adults, we need to be supports, counselors to our children, financial support for our children as much as possible. Do research for our children to help them out in whatever they're doing. You see, this needs to be a communal effort inside of the structure of the family. But this is Prophet Rawanawabi signing out. Thank you very much for your attendance. This is my YouTube channel, The One Tough Guy. I'll see you. I don't know when the next time I'm coming on. Maybe another time before the end of the week. But I'm going to say shalom and bye-bye.